All right, this is my trade review for August 11th, 2025. You can see here that this was a very, very good session. Um, I had a 90% win rate um, out of a total of 10 trades. Um, However, my average winning trade was only 1.4 ticks, if you can believe it. So just just picking up 1 to 2 ticks the entire session, and my the one losing trade that I had was 3 ticks. So while the expectancy is still more than positive on those stats, um, I still think I need to push my winners a little harder, and I do talk about that in the previous session's review. Um, One of my biggest takeaways was that address commission leakage by either seeking setups with larger edge per trade or adjusting contract size. So I did one of those things. I increased my contract size from 2 to 4 micros. Um, I haven't dove too much into the statistics on that, whether or not commissions are still uh, eating my lunch, so to speak. But if common math applies, then my commissions should be a lot less on 4 micros as opposed to 2 micros um, per tick, I should say. Because round trip it's going to be the same, but the profit per tick should be doubled, and I should be able to still scrape away a decent profit. However, um, at the end of the day, I'm still trading micros, and the commissions on micros for 1 tick trades are still going to be the same. So I haven't really changed much. Um, just trying to get a little bit more juice out of 4 micros than I would out of 2. However, I still need to push for more ticks. I think 1 to 2 tick trades, while they are good for maintaining consistency and they're easy trades. They're very easy trades. They keep my P&L up. Um, at a certain point, I need to ask myself whether or not it's worth the risk. So I'm going to dive into reviewing trades here. We'll start with trade number 1, which is a 1 tick profit to the short side. So right away, I can see we're in a pretty nice slip range on the 30-second. And I think that's exactly what this trade was. I shorted the top end of the slip range. I've got a little bit of spoofing below me. It's not much, which is why it was only a 1 tick win, um, but enough to warrant a trade. And I think the recurring theme in these reviews is going to be that the edge here in this setup, these spoof reclaim setups, as I've coined them, is very fleeting. The edge is very small. So still a great setup though. I like that um, we are downtrending, but buy orders are coming in on the delta. That means that sellers are absorbing, and in theory, that means that sellers are going to reload their positions for another move down. Um, we can see that sellers are keeping the delta down on the 3-second, which means that they are more than likely going to keep putting in more sell orders. Whether or not that means price will go down isn't really any of my business. I just know that if I happen to get short on something, chances are more sell orders are going to come in and carry my trade. So um, I like this trade. Very good spoof reclaim. Um, I do agree, though, that it was only good for 1 tick. Let me take a look here. Do we have any ranges going on? Not really. I will mark that as a medium time frame range. So I was technically slip against on the medium, but I was slip favor on the micro. This was a conservative scalp, very, very conservative. Reclaim, spoof, and delta favor. I am trading in the delta trend. My entry was perfect. My exit was good. I maybe could have, if we play this a little longer, I could have potentially held it a little longer. But I'm very happy with what I got out of it. So, this is interesting though. Why does it show two trades? Oh, does it not? I'm just stupid. Okay, never mind. At this point in the session, I am calm, I am content, I am patient, and I have clarity. This will be a green star trade. Let's go to trade number 2. This was a 2-tick profit, again to the short side. I think it was short pretty much all day. Again, not a whole lot to explain about this other than we've got some spoof below us, which is always nice. We've got a nice slip range setting up, and it's even slipping on the delta. The delta balanced really nicely right before I got in this trade, which means that if the delta is balancing almost to the contract, then chances are we are going to balance back to the other side. Lots of reclaim below us, stuff like that. Sellers are still absorbing on the 30-second, so I am with the trend, so to speak. I'm going to copy all my tags from the previous trade. Yes. So all the tags from the previous trade apply to this trade. Now let's play it and just see if it could have went longer. I don't think it could have. I think I cut it at a perfect time. Yeah. So I would have been, if I was trying to hold for a point or something like that, not only would I have been sitting in it for like 2 minutes, the trade eventually would have came back on me. So edge is fleeting in that regard. The chart doesn't look quite as pretty as I would want it to. The spoof wasn't as defined as the last trade was. So for that reason, I'm going to yellow star, and I'm even going to take away the spoof tag because I don't think I quite had a good enough spoof there. Still a good trade. Trade number 3. This was a 1-tick profit again to the short side. Let's watch it here. Very, very quick trade. I think what was happening this session was that the spoofs, when they would put in a spoof, it was just so microscopic. Like they would literally jump from one tick to the other without trading any volume in between, which still has edge. I still think I have edge trading through that tick, but it's fleeting. It's very fleeting. So edge is fleeting. The edge is still there. It's just I cannot hold for more than a tick profit. I'm going to paste all the tags. There was spoofing going on here, like I said, just for one tick, which I managed to grab. Let's play the video just to see if I could have held longer, but I don't think I could have. I think this was, yeah, it would have came back on me, which is exactly why I get out of those trades when I do. So, I think that about does it for that trade. I am going to green star it because I think picking up a tick like that is pretty good discipline. Let's move it to trade 4. This is a 2-tick profit to the short side. Right off the bat, looking at the chart, I'm not in love with this trade, but let's kind of wait and see what I do with it. All right, I changed my mind. I do really like this trade. I'm just going to play it and see if I could have held it longer. No, I couldn't have. So, there's a couple of reasons why I'm not crazy in love with this trade. For one, we just capitulated hard to the downside. It also looks like buyers are starting to absorb down here, like legitimate, excuse me, legitimate buying volume is starting to come in. The spoof that I traded is valid. So the spoof I traded was technically valid, but the reason I don't like this is because we had just capitulated. Legitimate buying volume is coming in, and this could just reclaim all the way up. We've got double reclaims on the sell side, um, or on the buy side. Sorry. So I'm just going to just screenshot that real quick so that I remember this lesson. So let's highlight the reclaims, reclaim, 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 reclaim. So let me put in the chart stuff first. 3-second plus 2 ticks short. This is the 3-second. Double reclaims. Boom, 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 boom. So double reclaims, which means caution. I'll write that in there. Which I do think I did a pretty good job of being cautious on this trade. This was the spoofing that I saw. Boom, boom, boom. Spoof. My entry, my exit. Cool. And then I just also need to be careful of. I guess I already marked it all off over there. Maybe I'll mark legitimate buying volume. So just got to be super careful on this. And for that reason, I'm going to yellow star this trade just because it's a pretty high risk area. So let's paste that in there. What do we got for tags? There's no mean on anything. Slip favor, I was technically slip favor. This was an aggressive scalp. I had reclaim, I had spoof, and I actually had delta against me, so I'm going to take off the delta favor tag. My entry was good, my exit was good, but I was a little impulsive, so I'm going to use the impulsive tag. I was calm, I was content, I was maybe patient. I feel like my patience might have been wavering a little bit. And my market read was in between. It was neither clear nor confused, if that makes any sense. So let's jump to trade 5. Trade 5 is a 2-tick profit to the short side. So I've got, again, just a tiny bit of spoof below me that I managed to grab. Let's play the video and see if I could have held it longer. Technically, yes. But I think everything from the prior trade is still valid here. It is a risky area. So for that reason, I am going to copy all the tags from the last trade, paste it in there. I do think this was still aggressive, calm, content, maybe patient, and in between on my market read. I think that's it. So this will also be a yellow star. Moving on to trade 6, 1-tick profit to the short side. We're starting to slip range up here. I got 1 or 2 ticks of spoof below me, and I managed to grab it. So I'm starting to like short trades a little more down here because we're failing to take back the reclaim. I think after such a big volume event like that capitulation to the downside, you got to be really careful about shorting because it could just jam all the way back. Like that could be just a huge volume event that could end up going all the way even to high of day potentially. Like I've seen those moves happen before. So for the first couple minutes after a big event like that, it's super important to be careful. But now we're a couple minutes out. Volume is starting to die off, and short trades could potentially be back on the table as we fail to go higher. And that's exactly what I did. So, as for tags, this was slip favor. This was more on the conservative side, in my opinion. I had the reclaim. I had the spoof. Did I have delta working in my favor? Kind of. Not really, actually. I feel like delta could have easily gone back against me, so I'm not going to tag it like that. Entry good, exit good, calm, content. I'm going to keep the maybe patient tag on this one, as well as the market read as in between. This will, however, be a green star trade. I feel like we're starting to tighten up a little bit more. Price action's getting a little bit more predictable. Trading to the short side in a slip range is a pretty decent trade, in my opinion. But let's see what the next couple trades have in store. Trade number 7 is 2-tick profit to the long side. So I think I'm starting to pick up on a potential reversal here. I did sit on my hands for more than half an hour after this. I just quickly want to glance back here, and it looks like I wasn't AFK. Usually that's the case sometimes if there's a big gap in my trading. But no, I was sitting here actively drawing on the chart and stuff. So this is legitimate patience. My patience has come back. But let's see what the trade looks like. So we're slip ranging. Granted, we are still downtrending, so this would technically be against the trend. But we've got a decent slip range going on here. You could see on the 3-second book that we are balanced for the most part. There's a little bit of book balance below us that could come back on me, but in my opinion, it's trading book balance is kind of like trading a slip range where it's like it's not always going to be to the tick. We're not always going to balance every single contract on the book. Sometimes we're just going to touch near the low of it, and that's exactly what we did. Now we've got really good spoof above us. I just looking at this chart, I would like to see me push this for maybe a point, but let's play it and see what ends up happening. So I get filled and I instantly take it off for 2 ticks. But if we keep watching, I could have got maybe even 5 or 6 ticks out of that. So let's go ahead and tag this. We do have micro mean favor on the low time frame. We've got slip favor. This is a conservative scalp. I've got reclaim. I've got, did it V flush? No, not really. I've got reclaim. I've got spoofing, and I've got delta favor. Delta is working for me here. Do I have anything else? No, not really, but that's good enough. Entry good, exit early. I would have really, really, really liked to see me push this a little further, especially since it was picture perfect. And I'll draw this one up. I was calm, I was content, and I was patient, and I had good clarity on this. Let's annotate this chart real quick. So let's put in our markers first. 30 seconds. 2 ticks long. This is the 3 second. We are putting in a lot of slip ranges. Slip range, slip range, slip range. This is kind of a slip range too, if you think about it. Slip heavy session. So there's a lot of slipping going on. Boom, boom, boom. Now, how do I want to draw book balance? How should I draw this? I'll do horizontal lines. So if I draw a horizontal line from there to there, book is mostly balanced. Practice caution on entries. So we got book balance, we've got slip range, we've got spoofing. Let me draw this spoofing. Spoof. We've also got a low node that coincides with it. Low volume area. Or is this LVN technically? This is my entry, my exit, ideal exit. easily could have held that till the top of the range. This is A plus. A plus. I really, really, really like this one. Especially since we are now finally starting to take back these reclaims. Price may want to take these back. Cool. So, trade 7, Green Star, A plus. Wish I would have held it longer. This is trade number 8. This was a 3-tick loss to the long side. I can already kind of see what was going wrong with this trade. Let's watch it. Yeah. So, first things first, the book was not balanced. In fact, we've still got a lot below us on the 30-second, but let's not think about that. I want to play the video from here and see if, had I waited for the book to balance, if this would have been a good long setup. So let's imagine I went long here. Oh, and I actually do. This is a try to. Yeah, and I get some decent movement out of it. Let's fast forward and see if this would have gone up. So theoretically, if I was in this trade, I would have gone out right here because a bunch of buy orders came in and tried to take back the reclaim on the book, but price stayed low, which means the sellers are absorbing. So I just think this was a setup that was worth taking. It just ended up not working, which is fine. That happens. I'm okay with that. However, that being said, trade number 8, I think I was missing a little bit of context. I was a little early. I should have waited for the book to balance. Oh. I'm going to add a new tag under mistakes. And it's going to be called book imbalance. I'll make it like a light gray color. Book imbalance. And that is what I'm going to tag trade number 8 with. First of all, there's none of this stuff. I did technically have slip favor. I was being a little aggressive scalp. This was a reclaim. It did have spoof, but I did not have dealt favor. My entry was way too early. My exit was actually pretty solid. I'm glad that was only a 3-tick loss. Mistakes, book imbalance. The book is not balanced. And I think that's it. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing any other context. I'm tempted to tag it context miss, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job of taking in the rest of the context. So I am calm. I am content with this loss, especially. And I do think I am still patient here. I was just confused, so I'm going to mark this as confused. I will tag this as a yellow star trade. I'm going to screenshot this, but literally the only thing I'm going to do is I'll put in my markers. 30-second, just 3 ticks long. Book is not balanced. My entry, my exit. Just a quick one, because I want to try to gather examples of the book being imbalanced. All right, trade number 9 is a 1 tick profit. If video's not working, I'm just gonna have to refresh my journal real quick. So trade 9, 1 ticket profit, 1 tick profit to the long side. And this is a try 2 of the trade I just took. So let me tag that real quick. We'll watch it again. Book is more balanced this time, which is good, but now it could overshoot and start balancing on the 30-second. It sucks because I had 3 ticks of profit here. And I think that would have been more than enough considering this trade. I think I was getting greedy and I wanted to see us trade through this spoof to the top side. Like, what's my entry? My entry's 1050. I wanted it to go up to 1250. I wanted 2 points out of this. But to give myself some credit, I didn't hold it that long. I cut it for 1 tick of profit, which was better than nothing. So for tags, I'm literally going to actually copy all the tags from the previous trade because this is essentially the exact same thing. This is just a try 2. My entry is still early, but my exit's good. I'm glad I got 1 tick profit out of that. Slip favor, this is still an aggressive trade. It does have spoofing, it does have reclaim, but the book is overshooting actually. Yeah, I just wanted to think about that for a second. The book is overshooting on legitimate volume, which could mean continuation. So this will also be a yellow star. Trade number 10, 1 tick profit to the short side. It looks like I finished my day on a short. Looks like I got a couple ticks of spoofing below me. Let's keep watching and see if I could have held that longer. No, it would have blown out against me. So, not a great trade. I don't like that I took this one. I'm actually going to screenshot it and tell you why. So, let's get into why this was a bad trade. First thing is spoofing. Spoof backside. We might want to take that back is my problem. There's only 2 ticks of spoof down here. So literally just the thinnest fucking spoof you've ever seen. Spoof. Front side. The book at the time of entry was not balanced. So book imbalanced, which means you could still go higher, which is exactly what it did. My entry, my exit. But I shouldn't have taken this trade at all. And this is actually going to be tagged as a red star. We've also got so much imbalance below us. Which I suppose is a good thing. That's actually working in my favor. But just got to be careful of that. So book and balance, spoof on the backside, which would have taken me out. I think that's about it. So I will paste that in there. Good. Tags. This is a red star trade. This was, again, technically slip favor, but it was pretty aggressive. I feel like. No, I won't mark that as aggressive. I do think this was very conservative, especially my execution of it. I had the reclaim, I had the spoof going for me, but I did not have a delta favor. My entry was, oh, I'm not going to tag entry or exit because I shouldn't have been trading here. Book imbalance was the biggest thing I think that fucked me. And I also missed context because there was a spoof above me. Calm, content. Maybe I'm impatient here because I don't think I should have been attacking in this area. And I was confused. I think I was confused because I didn't see what was on my backside. So that's all the trades for this session. I think I did a pretty awesome job with trade management. I think I think trade management is developing into a core skill of mine. I do think I have a lot of edge in managing trades, clearly because I mean my entries are phenomenal. I can almost always nail entries. It's just those exits that seem to get me. Today was kind of an example of that. I think there were a lot of really good trades that I could have pushed further, but at the same time, I was also getting into bad trades, albeit getting a profit. So I can get one tick of profit on a bad trade, which is good. But it's like musical chairs, you know. It's like when the music stops, eventually getting into those bad trades is gonna really cause some trouble. Um, it's a good thing that I can get out of a bad trade for a tick profit, but how long is that going to last? You know, getting into bad trades in the first place, you're taking on risk. It could blow out 10 ticks against you or more, you know. Um, so I think there were lots of situations today where I was just maybe overfitting this new source of edge that I found. Um, However, I do think there's been significant improvement since last session, primarily because I don't think I was fighting the trend once this session. Actually, let's go through and just verify that. I don't think any of these were fighting the trend. No. Whereas yesterday, or on August 8th, I should say, I did have a lot of trades that were fighting the trend. So that's kind of trading in a nutshell. You got to find one problem that's hurting you and fix it. You can't. It's so much harder to identify 20 different problems and fix 20 different problems when you could just fix one problem. And I think if there's one problem that I fixed this session, it would be trading against the trend. I think I did a pretty good job of doing that. So that's pretty much it for this session. I will head on into the next one.